What's up? Welcome back to Foxborough Rush. All right, so we've heard the saga of Terry McLaurin and the Commanders going through some interesting times right now. So Jordan Schultz of ESPN reported that Terry McLaurin has made it clear to the team he's frustrated with the lack of progress on a long-term deal. McLaurin unexpectedly left voluntary workouts after initially attending, and it remains to be seen whether he'll report for mandatory minicamp. He's entering the final year of his contract. He's 30 years old, AB. On the books to make $25.5 million, has been such a productive receiver ever since he stepped into the league. 5 straight 1,000-yard seasons, good downfield, good outside of the hashes. That's where Jaden Daniels loves to throw. I think he also knows the leverage he has of quarterbacks not getting paid. He's on a rookie deal. I'm essential to his locker room. And I think the big part, long-term deal. Probably wants 3-4 years, guaranteed money, and maybe around $28 million a year. The Commanders are in the spot of they have to win now. It's a championship window for them. But it has to make sense on what they want to pay. Again, the part that gets tough is 30-year-old receiver. 30's not as old as he used to be.
You keep saying like old,
I'm 31.
30.
I'm 31.
I think it's kind of young. No,
I'm 31, so I'm calling myself old as I do that.
Okay.
NFL terms.
NFL terms.
30 is old for a receiver, but he's been healthy. He's a good run blocker. He's great in that locker room. He's one of the most well-liked guys around the entire NFL. Go talk to people in the Commanders' locker room. This is interesting, though, because if he is available, the Patriots have to at least pick up a phone to look into what it would take to get Terry McLaurin to New England.
Definitely. That's a no-brainer. It should be full send on that. But I was shocked to see this because you're with an amazing Commanders team who could have been a potential Super Bowl candidate, right? This was something that we were all excited about.
Yeah.
And so I was shocked just to see the kind of the frustration that was represented in that tweet. I'm like, is this really the situation? It was just how it came across. But yeah, it's a very interesting opportunity that I really hope that if it is true, that we can capitalize it here in New England.
I just think where the frustration comes from him is that he's been a guy that's committed to the team, been selfless. He's been through the worst of it, too. Like, he was through the Dan Snyder ownership, the bad quarterback play, the bad head coaches. Jaden Daniels comes around. Like, he's a guy that helped at least keep things together in a way. You know, like we talked about culture being bad in New England. It was terrible for the Commanders. It was awful.
I feel like that's a reason, though, for him to want to stay because now he's in this new era. He got a little taste in his mouth about what it could potentially be. Really exciting games on the biggest stages and national televised games.
Yeah.
Winning and performing at a really high level. So I think it's an exciting place to be. And just having gone through kind of harder days with an organization, he might want to cap it off with the Commanders.
I know. I think it's also wants to get paid because, again, body's on the line.
Yeah, that matters.
It does. When you give it all, and in a way of like, I've been here, I've maintained it, I'm helping. He knows he's important for Jaden Daniels, too. It can't be said enough. He likes to throw outside of the hashes. He likes to throw outside. Terry McLaurin is like 15 yards a catch, great after the catch, good downfield receiver, good run blocker. Helps bring him along. There's a reason the Patriots should get Terry McLaurin to New England because he would help Drake Maye take an enormous leap. I think he knows his value. I 100% agree. He definitely wants to see it through. And I bet that's where the frustration comes from. Like, I want to be here. You guys know my value, but you're putting a cap on my value. And in a way, with these guys, and I get it, the disrespect has to be felt a little bit too.
Definitely. And not that he needs to be advocated for in New England because there's amazing things going on here, which is with a new regime and really an incredible offseason. Yes, you're coming in where we have a star wide receiver in Stephon Diggs, but I really do feel like he's such a playmaker that that's not even going to be a question. It's like, let's just get Drake Maye all the weapons that he could potentially need. At the same time, Stephon Diggs is coming back from an ACL. I think in the NFL, we talk about these injuries like, oh yeah, just an ACL. It's like, that's an ACL. That's like a year-long recovery. Those are not easy to come back from. And because of, yes, the resources that the National Football League has, and these players do individually and the hard work ethic that they have, they can come back and they can be, if not the same, better. But it is a really difficult injury to come back from. So I think in that sense, it'd be really incredible for the New England Patriots to have McLaurin because not only are you getting 2-star wide receivers, but you're getting people who are a playmaker, and then you're not rushing Diggs back. It can kind of take the weight off his shoulders to be the guy come week 1.
It would be an offense that all complements each other. Terry McLaurin's good lining up out wide. Again, along the numbers, downfield receiver. Kyle Williams, the rookie that they drafted out of Washington State, that's a guy that's a good downfield receiver over the middle of the field, a good separator in that sense. And then to not rush Stephon Diggs back, it could be a Kendrick Bourne, could be a Pop Douglas playing the slot to begin, could be an Efton Chisholm if he continues to ascend and continues his progress. Then when Diggs comes into the fold, it's good. And we've seen teams like the Texans. Why did they go out and sign a Stephon Diggs? because they know what they have with C.J. Stroud, and they had Nico Collins, Tank Dell, and Stephon Diggs. Look what the Texans did in this draft. Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel to build around a Nico Collins, and they signed a Christian Kirk as well to replace Stephon Diggs. It's teams take these steps. I agree with you all the way. It's you have Drake Maye. For now, this will be 4 more seasons at the beginning of the season. Cost control. Because once he gets paid, that's going to be 70, 75 million a year. It's going to be a lot of money. You want to capitalize on your rookie quarterback who's really good at playing well now. And we talked about the price. DK Metcalf was a 2nd-round pick. George Pickens was a 3rd-round pick. If a 3rd-round pick gets Terry McLaurin on your team, you do that without thinking twice because it'll help Drake Maye short-term make a big leap and long-term help the receivers in the room and Drake Maye as a quarterback.
Definitely, and that's what the Patriots showed us in the draft process. They went and got all guys who could help Drake Maye 1, 2, 3, 4, and then they go to the defense, right? So it's like that's what we're seeing from the New England Patriots in the offseason. So I would bet if they had the opportunity and it made sense that they would get him no-brainer on.
Yeah, I love him as a player, and I think that's a guy that's been healthy, consistent 1,000-yard receiver, can bring down 80, 85 catches, and he's a good run blocker. And with everything we talk about Josh McDaniels' offense, how complex it is, how difficult it is, there's option routes, there's a lot for the quarterback. You have to block as a receiver if you want to be on the field with him. And Terry McLaurin, where he comes from, being at Ohio State, that's something they established there in Columbus. If you don't run block, you don't get on the field. And they've churned out receiver after elite receiver after elite receiver. And that continued in this draft as well with the Emeka Egbuka going. They know what it takes. You establish culture, you want to teach young guys. That's what Terry McLaurin does. So good on the field, so good in the locker room, so good leading by example.
And the tweet we saw was probably the most drama of the whole situation.
I think I was like that. I agree with you
so
when
like,
you pointed it out.
There's not like any heavy
I was like, that's Terry McLaurin. I'm like, what's happening?
It doesn't feel like that. And even people who are in Washington and around this team a lot, they talk about how incredible of a leader he is.
Yeah.
And he's not a problem starter and just the character that he has. So this makes sense for him to fit into the New England Patriots organization, into that culture. And it's also probably another reason for them to just say, yeah, check the box, let's do it, let's make the move. Because when you make a move like that, already coming in where you do have a superstar wide receiver, you don't want to create any extra problems that you might already have. And so I don't see that happening with someone like McLaurin.
I didn't even think of that. It did jump out. I'm like, wait, what's happening? Terry McLaurin's upset? I'm like, what?
Because he's not out there tweeting things on his personal.
He's not a diva.
Like,
he's one of the rare number 1
Yeah.
receivers that's just like all in, all football all the time.
Yeah.
And that's something you would want here. And so to your point, it's like that's what jumped out. It's like, yeah, you read it, and I'm like, I understand why he's frustrated, but I'm just shocked it's even getting out there. Because that's a guy, it's all about the team.
It could just be a way to get that contract done, right?
Yeah.
Like sometimes you need a little bit of media commotion to
be able
to put a little hot, to get it a little hot on the press. But it is shocking because just the excitement that we saw from the Commanders team last season. I mean, I think Travis had me saying that they were going to win the Super Bowl last year. He's like, I got to clip that. So
they were a game away.
I was all for it. They were a game away. So I would be shocked, but definitely very happy if we get him here.
If he was added to that room, I mean, that is just hitting in a home run. And again, Patriots, $60 million cap space. They have the most remaining cap space right now in the league.